And we're live. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today we have a very special guest. So, how about you introduce yourself?
How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris-Poirier Kim. A lot of people know me as CPK from social media. My social media is at Chris-Poirier Kim. And I'm a personal trainer. I've been training for the last 10 years or so, but many know me as someone that's competed on the TV show American Ninja Warrior, which I was on for season 8 four years ago. And currently I work with a couple different national fitness and nutrition brands for exercise videos like Daily Burn or Hot Works. And then also there's a company called You Can Nutrition as well.
Well, it's great to have you on the podcast. We have a lot of stuff. When I was doing a bit of research, I saw that you're Taekwondo 2 times champion.
Yes, I am.
How did you get into Taekwondo then?
So funny thing about that is I started that actually at my first job, which was McDonald's back in the day, and there's this plaza that had this Taekwondo facility open up right across the street, and I had done it as a kid, but I'd always wanted to get back into it. And when I saw, I mean, they were brand new, and there was literally a 30-second walk from there, and so I actually worked to kind of pay my way into being able to train again for Taekwondo and compete again. And because I'd done again, I'd loved it from when I was a child, and I'd always wanted to get back into it. And that was kind of serendipitous in a way. Yeah. And so a lot of times after work, I would go and train at night.
Well, that's incredible. Like, so would you say it was like the easy access of it then that kind of got you into it? Because you were just like, oh, it's right there, might as well.
Yeah, no, it definitely did that. I mean, I've always been someone that's been super active. I've always been involved in athletics and sports in some way or another. And that was, an outlet for me that I could continue to be really active, but then also be able to compete in, because I'm a very competitive person as well. And so it was a great match. How that was just right across the street.
Of course, yeah. Well, do you find that it helps kind of with like your mindset? Because obviously you're a personal trainer and a nutrition specialist and all that. And like when talking to like people who do martial arts or boxing or anything, they say that it kind of keeps them in their place. Like when they're going through their mind, they're like, oh, they think about it in the way that they think about the martial art they do. Do you feel that?
Sorry, the ending just cut out there for a second. What did you say at the end?
Just that like they take what they learn from whatever martial art they do and kind of incorporate it into their day-to-day life. Do you find that true?
1,000%. I mean, martial arts. Well, let me speak with Taekwondo for first, and then I can go to other martial arts. 'Cause I have a lot of friends that compete in a lot of different types of martial arts. Okay. And so with Taekwondo, it's more self-defense, and so there is a very important self-discipline that one has to be able to learn, and a self-assurance and confidence one has to have from doing that, because the entire art's built around self-defense, not an aggressive. I mean, it can be, but it's not an aggressive type of form of fighting, right? It's not like if there's a fight in the street, I'm gonna go out. All right, I know Taekwondo. I'm just going out and kick this person. No, it's very, that's the last thing. It's more designed to be able to protect yourself, and so because of that, like there definitely is a calmness that one has to develop from doing it, especially if you're looking to climb ranks, whether it's go to test for new belts, especially like a black belt, but then also within sparring as well. As far as other martial arts go, I mean, so if you look at something like Muay Thai, right, that's a lot more aggressive, for sure. But the one thing that, depending on who you talk to between fighters, you could even use boxing, right? Like it's a fighting sport. Anything that's fighting related, there definitely is a sense of calmness one has to have from doing it, because for those that really have competed, at a relatively high level doing it, and have been in fights, and have been in a number of fights, whether organized or not, like it's confrontation. Physical confrontation should always be the last thing someone wants to be able to do. And if you're actively training in something, then most of the time, let's say like 99% of the time, that person understands, what comes with the physical aspect of doing it.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's the last thing that you want to do, and it's great to be able to feel good, to be able to protect yourself, but the discipline one has to have to, right, not to try and de-escalate, a situation, and keep yourself out of situations, I think is very important, and kind of gets to, what you're saying.
Yeah, it's all like I see in fights and all, like even watching UFC, like all the greatest fighters, they keep a cool head, kind of. They all have
Sure.
like a mentality where they're like, all right, well obviously I'm going into this octagon, I'm fighting for my life, but like I gotta be, if they hit me in the head, I'm not gonna be angry about it. Like obviously there's gonna be some anger, but you have to keep it down, like, and because I know that
Sure.
even with just like, if you look at UFC fighters who kind of go out swinging, like Conor McGregor, he's kind of a really aggressive, like, but obviously he can keep a calm head as well.
Yeah. No.
He tends to
definitely
out into more, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And I think, like, if you've ever heard like a lot of fighters talk in interviews and off camera, a lot of them are outside of like promoting a fight,
Of course,
a lot of them are super calm, and it's super chill, because like fighting, like you have to be so intense all the time.
Yeah.
Doing it, like in any type of fighting and any type of sparring, or else you get hurt. Like you could get hurt.
Yeah.
And even with Taekwondo, I remember sparring. And even though their sparring is more of like a point system, oh my! One of the worst black eyes I ever got was getting kicked in the face, spinning heel kick. It was awful. Should have seen that. Oh God.
So how long have you been doing Taekwondo for then?
So that I stopped years ago. So I haven't done Taekwondo in about 10 years now. But when I was doing it, like I was really heavily training like almost every day for it.
Yeah.
And it set a precedent for a lot of my life, and a lot of the things I'm doing now, athletically, because of discipline, because of the climbing aspect, right, to be able to progress in your belts and to be able to go and compete and spar. And so I took that and I applied it to a lot of things that I do now. I mean, I applied it to being able to compete on American Ninja Warrior. I apply it to a lot of athletes that I work with right now, and a lot of the things I do in my career, because the discipline that one needs, and the sense of calmness while you're in, I'd say like in the field of battle, but that can be even what you do for work, right? You can even look at that, as like a metaphor. To be able to work and be, work hard, but have a sense of calmness, about you. So I've taken that and I've applied it to a lot of the things that I'm doing now and competing in now.
Yeah. Well, do you find, like, obviously because you're still a very athletic guy, you're doing the Ninja Warrior stuff and your personal training. Do you find that when you're doing your own training that you incorporate like Taekwondo techniques into that, or have you kind of left them behind?
No, you know what? I actually do. So a lot of it, depending on who I'm working with, I can incorporate a lot of martial arts and Taekwondo elements in terms of exercise, because of mobility and flexibility. How can have people be able to open up their hip flexors and use their legs in ways they probably have never used them before.
Yeah.
And I use them a lot. So, for example, one of the companies that I do workout videos, which like you can stream me and work out with me on, is Daily Burn. And for Daily Burn, like a lot of times when I go there, and they're like live TV workouts, right? And like I'll create a workout for it, and let's say I'm given a guided an outline of like what they would like. If there's lower body involved, a lot of times I will incorporate Taekwondo elements into it, because they're fun, like to be able to do for like the average person that may not have done any type of fighting or anything before. So, to feel like, you can get, even on a smaller level, that type of experience
Of course, yeah.
from someone that has fought before. I love to do that because people love that.
Yeah. And have you trained in any other like combat sports, or is it just Taekwondo?
No, so I actually taught, and so if someone were to ever actually like see me kick and fight, like Taekwondo, excuse me, I actually trained and worked at a Muay Thai kickboxing gym
Oh, right.
long ago for a little time. Yeah, when I was like, I think I was like 23. And so that was a whole different animal too, because I was so for Taekwondo, if you look at people when they throw kicks, they're more, I'll use my arm here, excuse me, as I have my like brace messed up my wrist. They're more like they'll their leg will be bent and they'll snap their kicks, from different angles. But in Muay Thai kickboxing, like you'll get like huge sweeping movements of the leg, right? It's not as the range of motion is a lot bigger. There's a lot more power behind the kicks, and because of that, I would not want someone to get hit by any. Because I remember, this was so. I remember training, and the owner of the gym at the time, who had trained for years, would start teaching us. His name was Anthony. He'd teach us different techniques, because a lot of us who had worked there, we may have had, because it was a brand new gym, right? A lot of us who had just started there, we may have either had experience maybe doing boxing or some other kind of martial arts with our feet. Yeah. That pulls everything together, right? To be able to punch and kick. And so, I don't know if you ever tried this, if anyone listening has tried this, but punching and kicking in a fight is, can I swear on this?
Of course, yeah.
Punching and kicking in a fight is really fucking hard. And it's exhausting. And like, try for anyone that's ever tried fighting, like really tried fighting, to defend yourself, to punch and kick and be constantly moving. Oh my God, in 60 seconds, you can easily be gassed if you're not used to it. And I learned the hard way. Oh my God. Like I thought I was in shape, and I knew I could kick, and I knew I could punch, and I got the shit beat out of me a few times. Like it was beautiful. Moments like that kind of they toughen you up.
That's oh yeah, of course, yeah. So like, would you recommend people go into martial arts for like whether it be like gaining muscle or weight loss, or even just like a pastime? Or
yeah, so I think my philosophy around someone getting into martial arts is my same thing around most sports or athletics or something, relatively fitness related, is if you want to try, if you've had the, inclination and the desire to try, go do it. And if you love doing it, you realize you enjoy doing it, do that more, because that will really help keep you fit, as if you can find something that you really enjoy going to. And martial arts and fighting can totally be that. I'm a huge advocate of fighting sports and martial arts, because if you're doing it to get better at it, and you enjoy, like, let's say you enjoy the art of whatever that art is, there is a newfound respect that you will have from doing it, because it's easy to watch on TV or to see from like a video of like a highlight of someone doing something cool, or someone getting knocked out, or you hear about like jujitsu and you see someone UFC get choked out. When you actually go and do it, there's a whole newfound respect, because then you realize like, oh shit, this is really difficult, and I can actually really get hurt.
Yeah, because there's often like even if you're watching a UFC fight, when you're somebody who doesn't do like a martial arts or any type of combat sport, you're just like, oh yeah, like I'd kill that guy, and like I'd have him on his ass in 2 seconds flat. Yeah. And then like they'd go into like a gym or something and try a combat sport and just get knocked on their ass.
1000%. I mean, there's a reason why boxers and I think UFC fighters, I know boxers definitely do. I'm not sure about the UFC, actually. Don't quote me on that. But they have to register like their hands as weapons. Like their hands are literal weapons that they can use. And there's a difference if you see like a bar fight, right? I don't know if you've ever seen those, but I've seen
Of
like
course, yeah.
several like bar fights. I've seen a lot of street fights, and there's a very big reason why when you talk, if you've ever been around someone that's a professional fighter, they totally carry themselves different. Again, like physical confrontation is the last thing you want to do. Like it's no joke to get knocked out or to get punched in the face or to get physically hurt. Like that,
Of course, yeah.
it's a terrible, terrible thing, which is why I really love when people start getting into fighting or they want to go do some kind of martial arts. They want to try it out.
Yeah.
It's a whole paradigm shift of how you start thinking about one, yourself, but then also people that actually do that.
Of course, yeah. I know. Me and the boys have been talking about after quarantine, going and trying to start in jiu-jitsu. There's a place in town, and we're just like we've talked to a few people now that are like martial artists, and like we know people who do them. And then we had Stitch Duran on the podcast. You know Stitch, the cut man.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the cut man for Tyson Fury and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we were just from talking to all these people and then like watching UFC and stuff, we're just like, I think that I want to try out so many different benefits that you get from it. Not just like it's not just working out. Well, obviously that's a big part of it, but like I think there's a lot of kind of not even morals, but lessons you can learn from it.
Sure.
I think I've heard a lot of fighters talk about like the first time they get knocked on their ass is a very humbling experience because like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So really quick story on that too. So first of all, I forget where I heard the expression. Maybe it's to Mike Tyson or someone. I think it's Mike Tyson that said this. Like everyone has a plan to get punched in the mouth, and man, that's so true. So kind of going back to what I said about when I was really heavily competing in Taekwondo. I remember the black eye, the really bad black eye I got. It was from this kid who he was like 16 years old. I think it was like 15 or 16. I was 19 at the time, and like he was like a third degree black belt or something. And he was like, if we're talking Taekwondo, it was really good. Like he was incredible. The way he could move his body. And when he hit me with that kick, I definitely saw stars, and I had a black eye for a couple weeks, and it was awful. Right. But I'm someone that I've been in actual fights before. So it's not like I haven't been hit before. It was just one of those, like, it was just unexpected.
Yeah.
So this is one of those, like, I'm not gonna say where or anything like that. But so my instructor at the time, he's no longer the instructor there. This is like years ago. My instructor at the time, I remember, because like we would talk about UFC, like we would talk about fighting, and in the catalog for ordering all the Taekwondo equipment, there was also MMA equipment as well. Yeah. And so he ordered a bunch, and for a lot of the people and a lot of the adults, it was totally like off the record, off the books type thing. Yeah. But we would stay after a lot of the adult classes at night and start like MMA fighting. Like we would try. We would literally, like, on a very low level, like on a very like low level. It was honestly more from like the exercise aspect. Yeah. And being something different and fun for the adults to do. But it was like we did some little ground and pound like techniques, like being able to like turn your hips and like get on top of someone, how to get out of that. But we would actually throw punches. Right? We would actually throw punches. No. It was like we'd beat the crap out of each other. And I remember, right, like keep in mind, like keep the kid that gave me the black eye from the kick in mind. So I'm gonna get to him in a second why this is relevant. So we would go through like once a week. We would throw on the gloves, throw on different equipment, and honestly, really just kind of like beat the crap out of each other. But remember, Taekwondo is not like a balance. We're talking like a complete shift at the end of the spectrum in what we're doing for fighting. And I remember my instructor one time, me being a dope, being 19, he was like 29 at the time, and I was like, hey, don't hold back. Terrible fucking business decision. I got the shit kicked out of me. But it was cool. Like it was like I welcomed it, because I'm actually the type, like, I don't mind I like fighting's the last thing. Like I haven't been in an actual fight in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like in like maybe like 8 years actually. But like I don't mind it. Like in my teenage years, I was in a lot of fights.
Yeah.
So I've been punched in the face plenty of times.
Of course.
And I remember, and so like that was a bad decision. But I remember the kid who kicked me in the face. There was one time we actually started like sparring a little bit.
Yeah.
And I could tell from just the way he moved, and I could, you can look in someone's eyes, you can really, the window to the soul. He's never been in a real fight before. B's definitely never really been hit in the face before.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know like you guys probably from like watching UFC, you can see like their technique, and I don't know if you've ever seen someone when they're scared or like they're not really, they're in a situation in terms of fighting that they're really in over their head. Like he was doing one of these, and he wasn't.
Yeah,
even
you can tell by body language.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking to where he was like punching. I remember I hit him in the face, and I felt so fucking terrible because he was really scared. I was like, "Oh my god, I feel like the worst person." Like, I mean, I didn't hit him. I hit him hard. I didn't hit him as hard as I could, but I hit him hard. And man, he looked so scared. Every time we sparred in Taekwondo after that, the kid never beat me again. Like he was really, like, I felt really bad.
I mean,
I felt really bad.
He did get you with that kick in the face, so that, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, the funny thing was when he got me with the kick in the face, you could tell. I mean, he was obviously like he felt bad giving me a black eye, but you could tell he was feeling good about himself. Oh man, like I said, there's a total difference when you actually get punched in the damn face. Like it's a whole different feeling. Like you can either take a punch or you can't.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
There's those people that like take a punch and then the back way and they're like, okay, I think I'm done. And then there's people that are just like, I think I could go for another. Like,
for sure.
It's I think part of that is like some people, they're just like, if say they get into a confrontation.
Yeah.
Like either I've never done this before or I have a bad experience with it. So they're just kind of like, all right, if I take a hit, I'm out. Like, and then there's people that are just like, oh, come on. Or like, there's some people that have never been in a fight and they're just like, come on, hit me. Like, and they're fucking, it's just the thing.
Sure.
The whole thing is adrenaline because everyone's just like, as soon as the adrenaline hits you, you're like, oh shit, I'm going to do something.
For sure. And like, I say all this, like Muhammad Ali's like expression when he was training, like, he doesn't start counting until like, in terms of like sit-ups, like exercise, he doesn't start counting until they start to hurt. Until like the sit-ups start to hurt or something. I mean, the same way, it's similar to fighting. Like a fight doesn't start until someone gets hit.
Yeah.
Like if someone actually gets hit or punched.
True, yeah.
And I say all this like I've got the crap beat out of me when I was a teenager. Like getting in fights I shouldn't have gotten, not knowing what the hell to do, and things like that. So I recommend people getting into it as like a form of exercise. Also because then, there's like if you guys started doing jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
There'd be a confidence you guys have knowing that, all right, you know what? If something ever really went down, I feel well enough that I could protect myself.
Yeah.
To a degree, right?
Yeah. See, I don't think anyone should go into a combat sport thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to have this and like, I'm going to be unstoppable. Like, I'm just doing this.
No, you get the crap beat out of you. Yeah,
exactly. Someone learning it to like hit back against someone or something like that. Like, I think that's a very bad idea because, if you're learning it for exercise or you're just learning it to kind of have it there, because like obviously like sometimes you're gonna get into a confrontation, whether it be like I'm from like and like 90% of those people just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So like I think it would be very good even if they had it as like a thing in like PE or something for school. If they had some form of a martial art.
Oh yeah, that'd be actually really cool to teach kids discipline and everything. I think that'd be a hard sell on a federal level.
Yeah, that's very true.
To get that in there. But there's a lot of kids that, kids being in like martial arts is huge, and it's a great thing for them to build that sense of self-discipline. and confidence from an early age. There's definitely a sense of community around it, and I mean, they're really, a lot of parents probably would be fearful that their child would get hurt, but honestly, your child is going to get hurt probably doing a lot of different things.
Exactly, yeah.
Like when it comes to like an organized martial art or an organized sport or, something like that, it's actually better for them because it is organized.
Yeah.
That there is more coaching and teaching around it, that a child can get body awareness of themselves, which is very important. I think it actually really decreases the risk of something happening to your child as they grow older and start to get more active.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot more dangerous shit than martial arts. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, even if you look at American football, like, we don't have that here, but like we play Gaelic, so it's pretty much.
Yeah. So where you guys are from again?
We're from Ireland.
Ireland. Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, obviously, I know the name of the podcast, but I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't know you.
No. Yeah. We're from.
I didn't know all of you were from actually.
Yeah. No, the three of us are
really
from.
Funny.
Yeah, and the name of the county is Offaly, so that's why it's Offaly.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So fun fact. So I'm adopted.
Yeah.
And I know I have that all over my pages. I have an Irish family, so that's really funny.
Oh.
I'm a huge. Yeah. I'm adopted by an Irish
have you ever been here?
Family. No, but I hear it's beautiful. I know a lot of friends, a lot of people that have. So yeah, and I mean it's definitely on the list of places in Europe that would love to visit and travel to.
Yeah. Well, like obviously, like the three of us, if you asked us like about Ireland, like I think everyone says like the place that they live, everyone's like, oh, dude, it's a shithole. But like, like everyone thinks about that, like. The place where they grew up, everyone thinks about it. Until, like, I think it's when you start to get older that you start to realize that there are houses and there are other places. And it could be, like, even, like, I think where I live, it's pretty boring, like, because I'm kind of on the outskirts of a small village. So it's, like, there's not much around in terms of even scenery, like, and, like we went to Kerry a few weeks ago, and just down there it's all like mountains and coastline and everything, and it's like being down there, I was just like, this place isn't half bad,
Yeah, no, I mean
before that, I would don't come to Ireland. It's always raining. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, every different place, I feel like definitely has something to offer. Every country. Even to visit, we, especially here in the States, right? Like I live in Boston, and it's, sometimes we can be in our own bubble, especially here in the Western world, in our own bubble. But, it is, I totally can see how it's like that in like in most countries. And so, like that's cool that you had that thought. Like, oh, it's not that bad. Like when you start thinking of things that like that aren't too bad. It's like, oh, actually, this place isn't that bad at all.
Yeah, because people tend to focus on kind of like the things you can't do where they are.
Sure.
Like, it's like even I went to Australia last year for 3 months. I went from November to February, and just like the amount of things you can do there that you couldn't do here, I was just like, oh man, I never want to go home. Like, and when I got back, like I thought it was bad before, but when I got back, I was like, there's literally nothing to do. Because when I went over there, I did a good few things. Like what did I do? It was the first time being at a firing range, so that was pretty cool. I also I flew a plane for a half an hour, snorkeled with sharks, just a lot of different stuff that I'd never done
really
before.
Cool.
And I have the certificate there, but like it's. I don't know, like people tend to pick out the flaws in the place they like live or grew up even, instead of look at like the positives. Because like around here, like we all live pretty much in the same area. It's kind of urban, but it's not like the nearest cinema to all three of us is like a half an hour away. It's pretty far, so like if you put us against like someone who lives in like Dublin City and like the center of it all, we'd be like, oh yeah, there's nothing to do here. It's all just like fields and stuff. And then like in there, they'd be like, oh yeah, there's nothing to do here. It's all just like buildings and stuff. And it's just people just tend to pick out the flaws, I think, in the places they're
Definitely.
from. Yeah.
No, definitely. Negativity, it's always, fortunately, it's always at the forefront of thoughts and conversations. But that's where, I always bring this back to what we were talking about, like doing things, building self-discipline in terms of like thought definitely helps like get things like that out of your mind. Like once you get active,
Of course, yeah.
like doing things, I've noticed like that really helps, seeing and viewing things from a different lens in the world.
I do find that, yeah. Even like now, I'm not that in shape, and like when I go and work out, I'm pretty much dying after. But like, just in terms of like, I could be overthinking, and then I go on a cycle, and I'll be back, and I'm like, I'm literally gonna die. Like just like hyperventilating, like, and just. But like, still, there's nothing really bad in my mind, and then afterwards, I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, look at what I just did. Like I've accomplished something. It's
For sure.
yeah.
For sure.
It's a very good thing. Obviously, like everyone kind of put it off while we were in quarantine. Even though like there's so many home workouts that you can do. Like even I was looking at your channel, like even just the stuff you were posting, like you could get a full workout out of that. Like even a workout plan out of that. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people feel like if the gym isn't accessible, they're just like, oh, I'll leave it.
Definitely. No, that's so true. I think as humans, like we have to do our best to guard against ourselves. Like we really are our own biggest enemy, not anybody else.
Yeah, that's very true.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
because our own thoughts. I mean, I don't know how much you guys have read and are into for books, but like, "As a Man Thinketh" is one of my favorite books in terms of like the simple saying, like "As a man thinketh, so he will grow." And so, like the things that we think about, like all the time, constantly. I don't mean like little like thoughts that pass through and everything. I mean like the way we think of ourselves, what we want to do all the time is so important because it can either facilitate us taking action on something, whether it's like doing exercise or going to try something new, uh, or it won't, or we'll just stay in our own little personal bubble
Yeah.
through fear, through anxiety, and I think that's so important for people to really understand that you have to just get moving to start, because those
Yeah.
thoughts are always going to be there to like, oh, something's hard, oh, something is difficult. But
Yeah.
almost everything, honestly, is really difficult or really frustrating to try and do. Like for example, cooking's really frustrating
Yeah.
to continuously to try and do.
100%.
It's great and people have to do it, or else unless you have unlimited income where you can just keep ordering food in, right? But at
Exactly.
some
Yeah.
point you have to cook.
Yeah, that's very true. I find, yeah. I don't know what was I gonna say. um. So yeah, you're a fitness instructor, right?
Yep.
Like how long have you been doing that for, and like what kind of made you get into it? Was it like through helping other people, like, or was it just something else? Like,
So, in terms of me being a fitness instructor and trainer, that came from my love of exercise and fitness. Number one, like I'm a gym rat. Like
yeah,
I love to exercise.
of course, yeah,
Um, and I always have, because I've always been in sports. I've always loved athletics. And so when I realized that from a suggestion of a friend of mine at the time, that I should look into personal training because I think I'd be good at it. I don't know why I'd never thought of it before.
yeah,
I think I was like, again, I was 20 years old at the time. I was like, yeah, why have I not thought of this before? Like, this just kind of makes sense, because I could literally sit here and look and read up on exercises and the body and everything. I mean, I do that actually almost daily. Look at something that has to do with the body, or some kind of like information on food or something,
yeah,
because it's something really easy for me to be able to do. But when I was younger, I mean, couple things. When I was younger, I mean, I went through a lot of bullying, unfortunately, and in middle school and in grade school, um, and you know, exercising and committing to myself, it was always a way that I could know that this is something that I can control. Like what I do to my body is something that I can control, and it'll make me feel better. Even at a younger age, like I kind of knew that. And so being able to make a career out of it, it just made perfect sense, because I know that there's other people that struggle with their self-image and their self-confidence and self-esteem and how they perceive themselves, and to be able to help people build their own best versions of themselves physically is incredibly rewarding, and I love to do it, because it really affects every other aspect of your life. If someone has a fit and healthy lifestyle, or body, then more often than not, other areas of their life will flourish too, because there's just there's a magic in being able to put yourself through, honestly, through pain, which what exercise can be, right? And over and over and over again, to build the dexterity of your mind. You're not just doing it with your body, but you're doing it with your mind as well, where you're saying to yourself mentally and subconsciously that I can get through this. You know what I mean? And so
I get exactly what I mean.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started in terms of training, but also a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now and some of the videos you probably saw. I remember when I was younger, I saw my sister do workout DVDs, and I would literally sit there and be like, wow, that's really cool. Like, because I'd watch sports and stuff, and I was like, I remember watching these people on these DVDs where they're like abs or like total body, whatever the hell it was at the time. Julian Michaels or whoever it was. I don't know, it wasn't her at the time. This is way before. This is before that. But I used to think to myself, wow, that looks really fun. These people are working out. My sister working out. She loves to do this. I really just remember thinking, like, I kind of would love to do something like that when I'm older.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I actually do stuff like that now, which is really cool. Like to be able to work out and like on video for people.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Especially now. I feel like it's super helpful because, like, obviously, without like all the stuff that's going on at the moment, just even with people being online, body image and self-consciousness is like such a huge thing nowadays. Like it's like obviously it was big a few years ago, but I think it's being kind of looked into.
Definitely.
So many people are coming out and saying that like they don't like the way they look and stuff like that, and just like even and then when all this stuff struck, like the first kind of few weeks of quarantine, people kind of got to take a look at themselves, and they were just like, you know what, like some people were like, I don't like the way they look, or like I don't like the way I look, and then some people were like, oh yeah, I don't like the way I look, so I'm gonna do something about it. And I feel like what you do like is like really helpful with that, because obviously like you have all these workouts and like apps and stuff that you like can pay for, and like on your channel it's all just there. Like there's so many workouts. I was just scrolling, like it was insane the amount of workouts that are there. And even just in gym workouts as well, like with proper form and stuff like that. And it's amazing, like what you're doing.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, I know myself now. Like I've tried to get into the gym a few times, and now when I was in Australia, I got into it pretty good. I was when did I get into it? I think around like maybe the end of December. I started a plan, and so I'd cycle to the gym every day, do my workout and cycle back. And in 40-degree weather, that's pretty like draining. Like so.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, even getting back, it was just like, so much. Like I lost so much weight from just even the cycling, and then the sun adding to that sweating, and yeah, it was pretty good. I'm ashamed to say now that I put it back on, but I'm trying to work that out again. I used to find that my appetite was like so big, like I could eat for days, and then when I'd get back home from like cycling in the hot weather and going to the gym and then coming back, I just find that I was so tired and like I'd be so crampy that I just like I can't eat. I just like I'll have like half a meal and just be like, oh, I'm done. But yeah,
That's
like
hilarious.
it's yeah. But I feel like a lot of people get hit or whatever. I know the lads now have started a paleo diet, and I
Paleo's
said I
great.
was gonna I said I was gonna give that a try, but I haven't yet. I think that was the diet I went with in Australia, but I'm not too sure. I just over there I didn't kind of stick to a strict diet plan. It was more just like, oh yeah, like bread. I'm not gonna eat it. Like I was pretty much living on like ready meals. Now I know that's like super bad because they're all like really processed and stuff like that. But I think it was all just like chicken and rice, and that kind of sorted me out for a bit. And then I got home and like just being away for 3 months, and I was like, oh, I miss all this food that I couldn't have over there, and then I like, and I was like, oh, to stop. I just couldn't stop. So I got my bike fixed up maybe a month ago, and I've been working on that anyway.
Dope. I love hearing that kind of thing, man. Like I love, like it really, like I'm so I joke with people that like training literally is like my life. Like most of the 99% of the things, shouldn't say 99, like 90% of the things that I revolve around like fitness in some respect. Like it is my job. I'm a trainer's trainer. Like even though I do a lot of stuff and like media and like different companies and everything. Like at the end of the day, like I'm a trainer at heart. So I love to talk about these things, but I love to hear about them as well from other
Yeah,
people because it gets me jazzed up. Like when I see like your excitement, I'm like, oh, I'm getting excited
yeah.
right now. Like I want to go work out, either work out or work someone out. God damn it.
Exactly.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
I shouldn't say God damn. Yeah, take that back.
No, don't
One of my,
worry. Don't
but
worry
if one of
about it,
my
man.
no, if one of my friends watches this, I have a really good one of my close friends, Lo. She nicknamed Lo. She always gets on me. She's like, stop taking the Lord's name in vain. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh
Trying to
man,
do
that
trying to do
is
better.
that is that is so hard when you're Irish, because just thing is like Jesus Christ and like oh God,
Yeah.
and it's like, and then like you just can't stop. It's in like built into your brain, and yeah, it's pretty tough. So yeah, so I was just gonna ask, what would you say is like the biggest misconception with like personal training and even getting a personal trainer like to help you?
The biggest misconception
Yeah,
is that you're the biggest misconception is that you are spending too much money. Just straight up. Like there's
mm,
I advocate for a lot of trainers and myself, and there's a lot of trainers that do a lot of things for free. Not that I don't do things for free, but getting paid to do it, like this is our profession,
yeah,
and I've heard from a lot of people that, and from my time working in commercial gyms for years,
yeah,
um, that people are, training costs too much money, and it's fine, and this
mhm,
has nothing to do with someone not having the money to train. If someone
yeah,
doesn't have the income and they can they're the budget to have a regular personal trainer, there's nothing wrong with that.
of
But
course,
if someone can budget training in on some level for consistency, like it has to be some consistent level,
yeah,
then even like once every couple weeks, and this is if you're someone that can do things on your own, but on some consistent level, if a person can budget it in, it's money that's going to pay you back 10 times over, because it's something, if you look at it as a bill, then that's all it's going to be, and it's something that you can cut. But if you look at it as an investment, then it will give back to you, because there's so many great, I mean, there's a lot of shitty ones, but there's so many great trainers that I know and would co-sign immediately, because when you work with somebody, it's we wear many hats. So we don't just like help someone physically. If we are elite in what we do, I think I'm really good, but I know there's others that are incredible, and they're incredibly knowledgeable, and they're incredible good at application, and they're so good at connecting with people that your life can literally be transformed,
yeah,
because it's really simple to buy into a fad
yeah,
or a new type of diet, like a fad diet, right? Something that just like all of a sudden is getting getting a lot of news.
Yeah.
But being able to consistently stay with something, being able to consistently train, and if you can support that with a budget with someone over the long term, at least 6 months, you're going to see incredible results, and the money's not going to matter.
Yeah, exactly.
The money's really not going to matter at the end of the day, because it's going to go somewhere. Here's the thing. It's going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I love having these conversations about money when it comes to training,
Yeah.
because I feel like they need to be had, because I've seen people go months without training, and then they'll come back and be like, yeah, I'm fat and out of shape now. But they need that accountability.
Yeah.
Like, they want that accountability, right? For
course,
people that are already self-starters, but maybe they need some extra coaching, then that's super valuable too, because people like myself, we understand the value of coaching. So a lot of us have coaches for something.
Yeah.
It's really, and it's so funny how that works. Like, I have like for Ninja, like I when I first got into Ninja, even though like now I am a coach for it, I do coach it, but like I needed a coach for it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what the hell to do, and I wanted to get better at it. And
yeah.
And for anyone that is, let's say, really fit, and they feel like they don't need like a regular personal trainer, well, maybe you could have a coach, because let's say you wanted to do some kind of martial arts, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because there's only one way you're going to get better at it.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So you were saying there that it can like completely transform your life. So obviously you've had a lot of clients. What would you say is like, are you don't now, but is like your kind of most what word am I looking for? Like your most extreme kind of transformation of a client that you've had.
Most extreme transformation of a client I've had. That's a great question. I mean, there's a couple that come to mind. I'll probably go with one that's more recent from one of the last commercial gym I worked at, because this is someone that I still keep in touch with. This guy's name was Matt. He dropped like 50 pounds from coming to some of the workout classes that I was teaching. Because I would teach, like, it was a program you would sign up for. You'd come to a class that I would train 3 times a week. But this is a person that came in. He didn't join because he obviously knew he needed it, but he joined because his friend joined and kind of pushed him to do it. And so it wasn't even his idea originally. And she, after like a few months, left. But he kept with it because he had built the habit. He was just regularly coming, and even when she wouldn't come, like he would still be coming. And he ended up and it meant a lot to me, because we would talk, and I was like, guy to guy. Sometimes, like, in like public, guys don't want to admit things.
Exactly.
But we would talk one-on-one. He told me straight up. He goes, honestly, I really want to lose weight because I kind of want to start dating again, and I want to look my best. Like, I don't, I want to feel, confident for a woman to look to see me. And I was like, I appreciate your honesty, bro. Like it takes a lot to admit something like that.
Of course, yeah.
He could have just gone like the typical, which not taking this away as a reason, but like I know I'm overweight and I just want to, I want to get back into shape, and I know I'll feel better, like something along those lines. But he was just straight up like, I want to start dating.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I just want to look better because I don't feel confident right now to go out and actively, date to meet someone. I was like, cool. And so, built a really great relationship, built a good friendship after that. But after several months, he, I think it was after like 4 or 5 months, like he was down 50 pounds. And he had to go completely like new wardrobe shopping, and which is great. Like, all that comes with it.
Of course, yeah.
I probably felt the absolute best being able to see it, right? Just watch this happen, this transformation, because then I started to see him go out on dates.
All right.
whether it's people from or someone from the gym that I suggested, like, hey, maybe you should talk to this girl. or whether it was like out with a bunch of friends at the time and meeting someone new, because like it's not like it wasn't anything committed, so it was like just kind of getting out there, right? Like meeting different fish in the sea. Like it was so cool to see like this guy really have confidence to now be out there with a woman and like talking to them, because that wasn't there before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, but in terms of like transformation, like the guy really had the confidence now. So I mean, like a lot of us had no fucking clue what he was doing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us, let's be honest, don't have any clue what we're doing sometimes. We're talking to a woman, but but it was just awesome to see. He was like, all right, man, look at this guy take his at bats. That's awesome. That's what's up, man. Like get down with your bad self, down 50 pounds, feeling like a champ. Like, and so it was really cool to see, that complete switch from this timid guy, only showing up to work out because his friend dragged him there, to now him being the first one there, making friends, getting people to come along, inviting people out, like whole complete character shift.
That's a really good story, fuck.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that one. That's super wholesome, and like that I feel like that's a lot that'd be similar to like a lot of people's transformation stories, like, because like everyone's like, if you're like overweight or something, like you kind of look at yourself and you're like I lose this weight, or I want to lose this weight, and then like the people who do lose the weight, they'll like look at their friends who might be overweight or just like want to get something done in terms of fitness, and they're like, right, like I was in that position, now I know that I can like either advise you to go to someone, or like by them kind of sticking with it and going through that transformation, they're able to help other people who are trying to do the same thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyways, I haven't yet, but obviously you're on American Ninja Warrior season 8.
Yep.
So how did you get into that?
So I got into Ninja Warrior because a long time ago on a gaming channel, not sure if you're familiar with it, if they had it over there. There's a gaming channel called G4. I forget what freaking actual channel it was on, like for the stations.
Yeah.
But this gaming network on TV is where the show used to exist. Yeah. And I remember in my early 20s watching it. I was a big fan. I was a really big fan of it. And I never knew that it was something you could try out for and apply for until many years later, because someone at my first training job wanted to train for it. And I was like, oh, you can actually train for this thing? And then, this is 5 years ago now, 4.5 years ago now. When I really decided that I wanted to get back into athletics, I wanted to get back into training for something, competing in something. I didn't know what I wanted to do. There's a number of different things. I was like, I could train for like CrossFit. Maybe I'll train for the Boston Marathon. Ninja was definitely part of it. I ended up going with Ninja because a lot of the volunteer work I do with adopted children, they're huge fans of the show. And so, it just kind of made sense for me to jump into. But I didn't realize when I looked it up, like there's ninja gyms, quote unquote ninja gyms, all around the country. Yeah. And so there was several in my state. There was one not too far from me where actually I'm contracted out to personally train now and coach out of now. It was only 30 minutes away from me, and so I just rolled up there because I self-starter. Like I kind of rolled up there, then kind of asked what the deal was, and I started training for like anyone trains for anything. I could just switched up my entire training programs and everything. Just kind of listened. Listening to the coaches. Got a coach at the time. Yeah. Because it wasn't just something fun for me to get into. Like I knew I could compete, and I wanted to try and get on the show because I felt like I could. And between physically being able to, having a good story, and it was really cool. That actually, funny thing is, like the first year I started training, I got on the show. Haven't been able to get back on. Been trying to get back on since. Have not. I was kind of pissed. Are you serious? I'm way better than I was then. And just applied and just kind of went from there. But that's one of those things because it's a very obscure a niche type of thing to train for and even search for,
Yeah.
especially at the time, a few years ago now, because it's more international at this point. It's at least obstacle fitness is.
Yeah.
I know there's like Australian Ninja Warrior. I know there's like a Europe Ninja
Yeah.
Warrior.
We've had a few people on from Australian Ninja Warrior.
Like there's different.
Yeah. There's all
It's
different
definitely
types. Yeah.
expanded. It originates from the Japanese show Sasuke, and so it's definitely grown. And I'm just happy that not just like competing, because physically I do a lot of things now, and like uh, you know it's been a great home for me, a new place to call home over the last few years, that I can
Yeah.
build my career out from in terms of being a trainer, because I apply a lot of things I do for training into ninja, because people like myself don't really exist in the space,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And so um it's been something that's, I'm very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to build from, because I've met so many great people. Like I know at least on the American side, a lot of the biggest ninjas, like I know a lot of them. I'm friends with a lot of them.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And they're real ass people, like
Yeah.
they're really honestly like normal people, outside of like, 0.5 of a percent of 1% that are actual like celebrity status.
Yeah.
All of them are like real people, and they have real jobs, and they do real things, like they're teachers or they're doctors or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's a really it's a odd and different community in the best way, because of that, because you have people from all these different walks of life,
Of course. Yeah.
coming together under one roof to do ninja. Like that sounds so random.
Yeah, it is. No, it is super like diverse. Like even just watching it, like half of the people are like dads or moms, and then like half of them are
Yeah.
just like college students, or as you were saying, like doctors or teachers and stuff like that. And then when you see like if it's like a teacher, you see their class like they're kind of cheering them on. It's very like
Hmm.
they look up to them. I feel like that's very true. You obviously your nickname is the adopted ninja. So, I feel like that a lot of adopted kids can kind of look up to you and be like, oh yeah, I could do that, you know, like just because I'm
For sure.
adopted isn't hindering me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Hold on one moment. I'm just gonna charge my phone here.
Yeah, no bother.
Charging is quick. Charger. Yeah, I think that's one important. I think that's one important aspect that you just touched on there, because it doesn't matter, even if you're like kids are familiar, and kids' minds are malleable, and they're still growing, and they have, from seeing people do this, like an opportunity to expand their mind, not just their body physically, because they can, from doing ninja,
Yeah,
the mantra that always comes up is overcoming obstacles. And man, that's a metaphor for life in so many ways. But these kids
well,
can really get it, because the one thing with ninja is you're 1,000% going to fail way more than you succeed. You're going to fall way more than you don't. It's impossible not to. It's just the
yeah,
nature of like how the obstacles are, how everything's set up. If you
exactly.
train, especially if you train more locally, because the show, that's a spectacle, but it's a reality show at the same time too. You go to any local gym, it's a lot different. The feeling's a lot different, uh, and there's constant failure, and for the most part, this community is very supportive, though, because everyone gets it. Everyone knows everyone. It's not like everyone does it full time. Ninja's not a sport where you do full time
Yeah,
or anything like that. It's everyone's fun, physically challenging side hobby. In many respects
yeah,
that they do. But it's growing, and it's cool to see kids, um, like build so much confidence and want to be able to get better at something because it's fun.
yeah,
It's fun for them. It's ninja is really like an organized playground that you go, like ninja gyms are really like organized playgrounds you go play in
yeah,
for adults, but then also kids at the same time too. And you really get to see, I know from people like myself, you really get to see how kids start developing everything, whether their cognitive ability, their physical, awareness, even just their mental fortitude and grit to overcome things, to get better, to fail,
Yeah.
but then knowing that they can come back in and work on it to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
many
like,
benefits.
yeah, that whole thing with like, you fall way more than you like succeed. Like even and then overcoming them as well. Even like is it still that it's the last obstacle in every episode? Is it?
Say that
Or
one more time. Sorry, cut out.
Is it in the finals? Is it still the warped wall that is the last obstacle? Because I know
Yes, in the city qualifying rounds, that the warped wall is the last obstacle.
Yeah. Because like that entire obstacle is about overcoming like what you think you can't do. Because like when you think of it's like kind of a straight thing you can hop over, but this entire thing you have to run up it and like kind of jump and grab at the last second. And probably reading too much into it, but it's very kind of like, when you run up there and grab it and then pull yourself up, it's kind of a very triumphant thing to do.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, any of the obstacles, there's definitely a personal triumph you can feel because they're fucking hard.
Exactly. Yeah, they're designed to make you fall. So like, when you get past it, you're just like, holy shit! You look back and like, I did that. Like what?
And my favorite. This is just making me think of something really quick because I'm in a group chat with some buddies of mine. He posted a funny meme. And this can be applied to all sports, but it's definitely something just like for ninja that I've heard a lot too, where it's like the meme was this guy sitting, this like big like obese guy sitting on his couch, and the caption is like what was the caption? He goes like, wow, that looks really easy to do. I bet I could do that. Like you got like your people like just sitting at home. The meme is, and this can be applied to all sports. People that sit at home be like, wow, that doesn't look that difficult. Oh, I bet I could do that. And then you have people that'll like pick apart like, oh, why didn't he put his hand like this? Oh, like, oh, I would have just done this. Like,
I feel it's very easy to do that. Up. It's very easy to do that though when you're watching a sport, like especially. Definitely with UFC fights anyway. There have been so many UFC fights where you're like, come on, will you just throw that shot? And then you're like, if you were in there, you would be like scared for your life. You
UFC is that's a great example for fighting where it's like, oh, why didn't he just do this? It's like, have you been in the ring before? Do you want to know how that feels like? Do you realize how difficult that is?
Yeah, you're literally like, so like a fighter's most powerful shot could be like their right hook or something. You're like, throw the goddamn right hook. And then, like, if they went in, they'd throw a right hook. And, like, they'd just be like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah. It's like, how many hours this person has studied or practiced or trained? Like, it's crazy.
I feel like I am guilty, though, of doing it before. I know.
Well, no, like, I definitely do it. I definitely do it, too. Here's the difference. Like, as a fan, you do it.
Yeah, of course.
Straight up, I'm totally here, like American football. I'm totally an armchair quarterback. A lot of respect. I'm like, what the fuck? How did you miss that? Receiver's wide, the fuck open, right? But that's just as a fan, like me in the moment. I know that I can't do what they do, but it's the entertainment aspect of it. But there is a huge faction of people that really do sit back and they're just fucking haters, and they're just like, oh, that's easy. Oh, well, this person sucked, or this person didn't do it for this reason, and it's like. And it's like, yo, you serious? Like,
yeah, it's kind of like people are just like, yeah, I think I could do that.
Oh my god, I remember. No, there's.
Go ahead.
That just reminds me. So there's a ninja. I love him. His name, they call him the Phoenix. His name's Naj. And I remember he put a post, and it was like because he failed doing something, right? And I'm gonna explain all this, and there's gonna be a punchline at the end here because there's a particular part of the finals that he failed on. Because it had like going underwater, doing all like there's the last obstacle was like going underwater, lifting these things as like the last obstacle, and so you're really tired because it's the last obstacle, and he was talking about, he made a post about like, you know, not being conditioned, and everything like that, like needing to work better, and he has asthma though, like he has asthma. And I remember this guy got in the this guy in the comments was like, hey, don't use your asthma as an excuse. And I was like, dude, are you fucking serious? As an excuse, the dude's fucking underwater. Have you ever been underwater with asthma before, you fucking idiot?
That's like that is literally like the equivalent of someone being underwater and then just like someone just being like, oh yeah, just breathe. Like
yeah. Imagine like trying to hold your breath and you got asthma, and you just did like 5 straight minutes of this obstacle course, and now you're underwater.
Yeah, you were like exactly, yeah. It's like it's some part of it, like it's easy to criticize when you're watching, but then like when you're actually doing something, it's like, okay, this is so much harder than I thought it was. Because like I feel like a big part of that, like I was like I don't watch boxing too often now, but like if I go to a gym for like as long as I can, and usually what I'll do is like I have an app where it's like it has rounds. So it'll be like one round and then rest, and then another round, then rest. And I think there's like 6 rounds or something like that. And just like watching boxing, just been like, oh, come on, like, how are you tired after that? And I'm like 60 seconds, like, first round, and I'm sitting down, towel on my head, just like, oh, how am I going to go another 5? Like, it's, yeah. Two very different things. Like doing something and watching it. Because even just like we've had competitive eaters on, and they'll be eating something, and you're just like, oh yeah, I could kill that in 2 seconds, and then meanwhile I eat like a McDonald's, and I'm just like, I gotta take a break.
Then you got people like Joey Chestnut here, and they say it set the world record for hot dog eating. Like it's like, god damn, like.
Oh yeah, we were actually talking to people who compete with him. We talked to Nick Weary and Miki Shudo. Cool.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name.
Yeah, and
I've been watching competitive eating since I was a kid, since Kobayashi, man.
Yeah, competitive eating is like it's such a fascinating thing because like you know you can't do it like 90% of the time. You're just like, these guys are fucking crazy. Like, how are they? Where are they putting all this stuff? Like, and then shit. Like we were when we were talking to them, like we had an idea because there's like this all you can eat place in Dublin, and we were like, oh yeah, if you ever come over here, we should do like a video where we have like the 3 of us at one table, you at another, and we have the same amount of food. And then see who can finish or even go for second. And like we just know we would be destroyed by like 2 to 3 people. And it's just like it was cool. Just even talking to people on this, like half the time, like with the podcast, we've gotten to talk to so many people like that we thought we'd never talk to before, from like so many different backgrounds and so many different like kind of work fields, like. So like we've had actors and not knowing what goes into that profession before like we talk to them most of the time. It's just like, it's easy to assume things. So you could just be like, sure. Like we had a paleontologist on, and before that we knew that he was the head of the Dino Chicken program. If Jared was here, he'd be freaking out right now because he fucking loves that shit. But it's pretty much he's trying to introduce DNA found in a chicken that's kind of like not used. That'd give it more kind of dinosaur like looks and kind of ways of behaving. And then we found out that he was. You know Jurassic Park, yeah? Obviously.
Who is it?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
You know Alan Grant, like the main paleontologist from that? They actually based that character on this guy.
No shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, like clearly. And one of the boys was actually watching the Jurassic Park movies the other day, and I think in the third one, someone mentions like, "Oh yeah, look at this paper by Jack Horner," and we were like, "Holy shit, we had him on!" Like, so like, yeah, it like the podcast allows us to kind of look into something that we don't know a lot about, and that's why it's great having you on, because like obviously, like, you know, we have some kind of idea about kind of like fad diets and like workouts, and then been on like Ninja is a Taekwondo champion. It's just it's very interesting. Like,
Well, I mean, thank you for having me, man. Like, thank you. I've I appreciate you wanting me on.
oh yeah, man. Well, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming on. To everyone who's watching, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell your grandma about the podcast, and where can they get you?
What was that again?
If people want to find you, like kind of look at your personal training or your kind of nutrition stuff, where can they find it?
Perfect. So you can look me up on all my social media at Chris-Poirier Kim. It's my name. It's all my social media you can find me on. My website is cpkfitness.com, and I have an app that will be officially being released over the next couple weeks called the Fitness Ninja. So it's my own fitness app that I have as well that people can download and work out with me there also. But at Chris-Poirier Kim or cpkfitness.com are the primary ways you can contact me.
Right. Well, we'll leave your links in the description, and thanks for watching. Take care handy.